We got about 2 minutes before we'll get started.
That one, it is. All right, Jack. Yeah. I like where your head's at.
Okay, it's 9 o'clock, so Pat, will you please start with the roll call?
Ellen Anderson.
Here.
Scott Hardeman.
Here.
Monica Hassel.
Here.
Mary Kay Jacobson. Here. Greg Jones.
Here.
Mark McLean. Here. Isaac Zerker.
Here.
Mr. President, we have 7 board members present, therefore there is a quorum.
Okay. Would everyone please join me in standing and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I need approval of the minutes, a motion to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting of July 23rd, 2026.
I move that we approve the minutes from July 23rd of 2026.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I'll go through the agenda now and tell you where we will take comments and questions and where we're not going to do that. I don't know, Alan I don't think is here today. There's so many of you here today that I can't see. I usually can tell him when he walks in, but I can't tell him today. So I'm assuming he's not here. Joe and Colleen are, Joe is there? Stand up for a second. Okay, and Colleen? Okay. So I don't know if you're going to have any comments or not. Not right now. Not right now. Are you going to make some? Okay. All right. We have Phil Smith here with the update on the Veterans Memorial. There'll be a little question and answer period after that if there are any questions. My report will be given, and no, there won't be any questions there, nor at the election committee. We will entertain questions there if there's some questions there. The treasurer's report will hold those questions to the end. The general manager's report, the same thing. We'll hold those questions to the end. The ACC summary, if there's some questions about that, we'll take care of those while Harry's here. The Wyndham report, we'll hold those questions to the end. Since we don't have any old business, there's nothing there. The dock request on common property is just a vote that the board has to get through because whenever we allow a dock on common property, it has to come to the board. That's our policy. These are quite common, so there's really nothing to really talk about there. The presentation on the comprehensive community master plan, there'll be allowed questions there. The approval of the contract for competitive community master plan will be a vote where we're going to approve the funds to go ahead and do that. The resolution on the sewer availability fee, this is not a policy change. This is a program that's being instituted to help incent the building of homes down in a designated area. There will not be comment or questions on that. Board member comments and then comments from the floor. I'm probably going to move the sewer availability fee discussion up at the top of new business because we have one board member, Ellen Anderson, who is not here today, and that's the reason why there's not a declarant report, because she's not here physically today, okay? All right. I'm sorry? Well, I understand, yeah. Okay. With that in mind, are there any questions from members on the agenda? Oh, two other things before we move into that as well. We will not comment, nor will there be any discussion on any pending litigation. So if you're here to talk about that, we're not going to talk about that, okay? That's been the policy of the board, that for pending litigation, we're not going to suppose we know something or we don't, okay? Go on ahead, Bruce, I'm sorry.
Bruce Cox, 23 Brixton Lane. Greg, after the presentation on the comprehensive community master plan, could you give a quick update on the other two studies that were to be done, which was the 10-year wastewater treatment engineering study and the updated reserve study?
Yeah,
I'm just curious of what the status of those two are. Thank you.
Okay. Why don't Jason, you and MK, you guys address that in your treasurer's report, if that's all right? Where we are with the reserve fee study, okay? All right? All right. Any other questions about the agenda?
I was hoping somebody might be able to address the status of the club staffing survey. Well, it wasn't a survey, but it was a report that was put out.
Well, I can tell you that in real quick, that it's in process. We have not gotten the final report yet. We're
Okay,
supposed to
thank
get
you.
it fairly, I think September, is that about right? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Tom Ratcliffe. Bill, in your comments, could you give us a little bit of an explanation as to why the occupancy report is delayed, the estimated cost to the club by having that delayed almost a month for the opening of Druid? And then congratulations to Greg and you as far as on food and beverage, Stonehenge, where the cost of sales have dramatically come down, roughly about 14% in 1 month. So maybe you can talk a little bit about what you're doing, what was done to bring it down so dramatically. Sure. Thank you.
For the record, that's Greg Smith, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Lisa Shelton. Bill, when you have your comments, I know you and I had emailed about the concrete wall, and you have the architect looking at options. Can you address the way that was presented to the architect, and was he given a budget, or how are we going to know the cost of that? Thank you.
Any other questions on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and get into the agenda. Like I said, Alan is not here today. We knew he was going to be out of town, so we'll pass over him. Joe?
Well, good morning. I just wanted to make note that tonight, or tomorrow actually, we'll be doing the swearing in for the new commissioners after the elections. And we start sort of our next year's process, really the next couple of years, because of the way the elections are over. So just like any large organization like Fairfield Glade that runs an excellent program here, the county also has to run, what are going to be our primary objectives for the next period of time. And so now's a good time if you've got people if you've got interest on where you want to see things done. Over the course of the next couple of years, it's a really good time to now engage with your commissioners, myself, Colleen, John, and I don't know who won, and Wendell, sorry. And to help us know what you see from a county perspective, just exactly like you do here with the Fairfield group, saying what you'd like to see. But do realize, just like this group, it takes time to make things happen. So early on is a good way to connect versus showing up at the last hour hoping that it all works out. So thank you. I just wanted to make that note.
Okay.
Phil?
Phil Smith, update on the Veterans Memorial.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I will be brief this morning, but I do want to update you on the status of the progress that we're making with the Veterans and First Responders Memorial at Robin Hood Park. You have noticed over the last several weeks that they are down there digging, and what's going on, Hopper Excavation is preparing the foundation for what will be the pavilion that will go in adjacent to the Flag Plaza. And that work should be finished this week or early next week. And then from there, we will start the process of building this pavilion. We got the plans that have been revised for it, submitted to the county for their approval. We're waiting for that final approval, and then once that happens, we can go ahead and start executing some of the work with the subcontractors that we have lined up. We will be using the same team that we used in the Flag Plaza. We were very pleased with the work that they did. They're all local contractors. The Crab Orchard Stone will be a major part of the second phase of this. It will be part of the pavilion, and then we will have some display walls that will also have featured black bronze plaque features around that. Our goal is to have a town hall meeting this fall when we have more details that are available and some updated drawings that we can share with you. There will also be some opportunities for those that want to sponsor some of the plaques that we're going to have custom made to put into it. The pavilion itself is going to be 28 square feet, and we'll have 4 stone pillars, a metal roof, and the design is very nice, and we'll share that with you soon. We'll also have seat walls similar to what's down there in the Flag Plaza. We are not going to have picnic tables or benches in the pavilion. It will be open, but it's open to the public. Anybody can use it. And but the seat walls around it can be used for seating and special events. It'll have a flagstone floor as well. Around that, then, is going to be a circular walkway, and that's where we will have more Crab Orchard Stone displays similar to what's down there now. So it'll be the same style of architecture. Once we get the county code department's approval, we did submit the original plans to them. They came back, asked for some revisions. We submitted those revisions, and we're waiting to hear back from them that we can go ahead and get started on all that. A couple other things I just want to mention quickly. One, you noticed that the flags are lowered in respect to Dolly Parton and her passing. We have 15 flags there, so it's a little more cumbersome to do that, but they will be down there this week. We are working out a lot of the flag protocols that we have to follow. We will follow all the national guidelines on it. Sometime we might be a little slow in getting them lowered, but we will lower them. Then the other thing I want to mention is that on September 11th, there will be a program down there at 10 a.m. The Fairfield Glade Fire Department and Police Departments are co-hosting that, and we'll have more details out on that, but it'll be a chance for those that are interested and available to come down and just, again, in memory of what happened on 9/11 and respect for the families and all the things that have happened since then. So with that, I think that's everything. I want to thank the board for your support, continuous support. I want to thank the community for your support and your patience. This is what started out as an idea in 2018, kind of turned into a job, a professional, but it's well worth it. We've had a lot of volunteers that have engaged. We are committed to making this a quality product. That has been our fundamental guidelines on this. This thing is going to last a lot longer than any of us probably will, and it's going to be something that we can take pride of in the future. I did find out a few weeks ago that the Tennessee Magazine is going to do a feature article in October on the memorial. And so that has a circulation of 800,000 in the state. And so it will be a nice plug for our community and for the memorial. So we're excited about that. So I think that's it for, so if you have any questions, I'd be glad to take them. If not, I'll move on.
Are there any questions? Come on up, please, so that people can hear your question.
Phil, thank you for all of your effort on the Veterans Memorial. It is a beautiful, is it not on?
Yeah.
Just,
You just
okay,
have to
thank
be
you.
close to it.
Phil, thank you for leading the Veterans Memorial. It is a beautiful feature of our community and something that we can be really proud of. One question that I have, you mentioned that the pavilion is going to be 28 square feet. That doesn't sound very big. Is that really what you meant? 28
28 feet? Is that what?
square feet?
Square, no, 28 by 28.
28 by 28. Thank you. That was my question.
Well, that's
thank
an
you, sir.
important clarification.
It would be your
think-
private pavilion.
You couldn't even have a board meeting in there, but yeah, no, I'm sorry about that.
Any other questions for Phil? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move into the President's report. As
Thank
part
you.
of, thank you, Phil, and really thank you for your committee and all the work you've done. Hopefully everyone's driven by the memorial at least once or twice, but if you haven't been down there, it really is worth the ride to go down there and take a look at it. It's been really, really done very well. It's a statement for the community. Phil has told me on more than one occasion, I do agree with this, that for the state of Tennessee, this could very well turn into a destination type of place. So please go down there, take a look at it, and there's more to come with the other phases that they're working on, but it's well worth to go down. So thank you, Bill, and thank you for your committee. All right, as part of the President's report, we'll have Kathy Tipton give the Election Committee report. Come on up.
Good morning. My name is Kathy Tipton. I'm the chair of the Election Committee. Before I begin my Election Committee report, I would like to address a concern that has been brought to the Election Committee's attention. We have received reports that there are some club members, when inquiring about the status of a ballot, have spoken rudely or discourteously to staff members at the reception desk in the administration building and in member records. I would like to remind everyone that these staff members work on behalf of all of us. Their role is to assist members, answer questions when they are able, and direct members to the appropriate person when additional help is needed. They are also our neighbors, fellow members of our community club. They deserve at all times to be treated with courtesy, patience, and respect. No one is trying to prevent any eligible member from casting a ballot. The Election Committee, member records, and the administration staff have all worked together to ensure that every eligible member has the opportunity to vote, and they are here to help. I would like to remind everyone today that when we contact the administration office, speak with someone at the reception desk, or work with staff at member records, let's remember to approach these conversations with courtesy and respect. Thank you. And now I will move into the Election Committee report. The committee is pleased to oversee this year's election for 2 at-large director positions with a slate of 4 candidates: Bruce Evans, Gary Crevo, Ted Landers, and Andy Worrell. The at-large director is elected to a 3-year term by the entire voting membership of the Fairfield Glade Community Club. Eligible voters with a current and verified email address on file with member records received an emailed ballot on Monday, August 10th. Property owners with no email address on file with member records were mailed a paper ballot on Monday, August 10th. If you have any questions about your ballot, please contact the administrative office at 931-484-3780. The committee would like to thank everyone who has voted. Voting ends Friday, September 4th at 11:59 p.m. Results of the election will be announced at the annual meeting here at the center on Friday, September 18th at 10 a.m. Are there any questions?
Please come up if you have a question.
Ted Landers, have you received any indication on the percent of people that have voted or number of votes that have been cast?
The committee does receive updates on participation rates, yes.
Could you share what the participation rate is with your latest number?
As of yesterday, it was 33%.
Thank you.
Kathy, first of all, thank you and the committee for all you've done. A lot of creative things.
Thank you.
This year that you've tried, and you keep trying to get us out to vote, so I appreciate that. Can you give us an idea roughly of the cost of an electronic ballot versus a paper ballot? Roughly.
Well, that's a good question. I know that that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that exactly. I know that last year there were 307, I'm sorry, you can't hear? Sorry. That's a good question, the cost of paper ballots compared to electronic ballots. I don't know the answer to that, but we can probably find out. I know last year there were 307 paper ballots. So the majority of ballots last year were electronic. We would like. Oh, Phil, hi. Is
Come
that
up
all
here,
right?
Phil. Nobody
Is that
can
all
hear you
right?
from back there.
Phil was one of our gurus in the past. How are you doing, Phil? Living the dream.
These numbers are a couple of years old, but they don't change significantly from election to election. If we take the total cost that we pay the vendor, and his invoice is done granularly enough for us to identify the cost of an electronic ballot and the cost of a mail-in ballot. Mail-in ballots, of course, require paper handling, data entry, postage, envelopes, paper. The cost of a paper ballot, if we divide the total votes cast into the cost, which is to say that includes the votes that weren't cast, that went into the garbage can. And that runs about $15 a vote, a ballot. If you look at if you do the same math on electronic ballots, it's less than $4. So the cost of paper ballots, and by the way, the cost of paper ballots is going up because we have fewer and fewer and fewer of them over time.
Thank you, Phil.
That's helpful. So Kathy, we've had this issue in the past. Our vendor doesn't seem capable of allowing split votes. So let me go through my example real quick. If you get, let's say, 3 votes, one would expect that you could click on, your property address would show up, you get to elect your 2. Click on for your second property, again, you could elect for your 2. Click on your third property. So if I wanted to vote for Bruce and Gary on one, Bruce and Ted on another one, Bruce and Andy on another one, I could do that. But what I'm forced to do with our vendor is go through the more expensive approach, which is I got to call and get the paper ballot, and then I got to fill it out, and then I got to sign it. We're in the electronic age. Now, I understand it years ago, but we're using the same vendor and they have not upgraded. So my long question is, what are we doing to either find a new vendor or have them upgrade theirs? And it's because the large property holdings, use Liberty as an example, has 78. They would get 78 handwritten ballots if they wanted to split them. Have to fill them out, sign them, right? And then send them in. Could be handled electronically. It skews those large ones to voting strictly for two people, as opposed to maybe splitting the ballot. So I'm wondering what we're doing to look at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. I have not had that question asked of me personally before, but that is something that the election committee, next year's election committee, can look at, yes. And we will make a note of that for our committee to look at. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? All right, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kathy. I'll add a couple
There's
things.
someone's coffees up here.
Oh, that's Phil's. I will add, please remember that all votes need to be cast by 11:59 p.m. September 4th, okay? So if you don't get your vote in by then, and I'll also note, we get this all the time. Everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, there's a number of people who have, think they know how Wyndham votes, the timeshares vote, and all that. We do not know how any individual or group votes on their ballots. We never get that information, and we don't want it. So anybody who's saying, well, they're voting as a block, we don't know. And that's the official statement, okay? Because you really don't know. So people make a lot of noise about that, but in all cases, it's not really true. Okay. For the President's report, we have a couple litigation items, and I'm going to bring you up to date on those. But again, we're not going to comment on these. These are things that we know that are happening in the courts and decisions that have been rendered at this point that we need to make sure that the community club is aware of. For the Wyndham Timeshare Owners Association update, for those of you that have not heard, on August 4th of this year, the 8 individual homeowners associations have filed their bankruptcy claim in the United States Bankruptcy Court of Middle District of Tennessee. There have been motions filed in the court that are defining the process that the bankruptcy will follow. A couple of things that we have heard, okay, and these are, a lot of these are tied up in the motions too. We think this is the way they're going. We've heard enough of it that, that it appears that some of this stuff is defined. We've also looked at other filings and how the bankruptcies have run by Wyndham and other or the homeowners associations and other places, so they're following a trend. The properties will be allowed to be marketed for sale during the bankruptcy process. That's a big deal, because if it waited till afterwards, we'd have to go through the bankruptcy court, and then they could start looking for people to buy the properties. The homeowners associations have selected a firm out of Chicago. The name of that firm is Hilco. I don't know much about them. I know they're a real estate marketing firm. And the to market the HOA properties. They have their own process of how they're going to go about doing that. That is between the court and the homeowners associations. We do not get to participate in that, and we do not get to define how that process is going to be. The bankruptcy courts will take care of that. The process will likely, if it follows all the other ones, and I think this is what's been filed so far, will likely follow an auction process, but we have not seen the rules of how the auction process will work. So that's still being defined, and Hilco and the homeowners associations are defining that and getting approval on that from the courts. So again, we do not participate in that process. There's been interest shown by several groups about purchasing the HOA properties, But until the auction bids are made, we cannot gauge the real level of interest. Until somebody turns in a bid and says, this is what I'm willing to pay for those properties, it's just interest, okay? There was a process that will follow, and they'll turn in bids and all that type of thing, and that's when we'll know who really is interested. And again, the club does not participate in any of those decisions, all right? So that's the update on the Wyndham Timeshare Owners Association. The litigation update on the temporary injunction granted against Zurich Homes, Inc. In the lawsuit filed by the declarant, FGH Land Tennessee LLC, that's Fairfield Glade Land Tennessee, and the Fairfield Glade Community Club against Zurich Homes, Inc., Zurich Homes, what is referred to, concerning the Hanover Court roadway, on Friday, August 21st, 2026, the judge granted FGH's and FGCC's temporary injunction against Zurich Homes, prohibiting Zurich Homes from road development activities on Hanover Court while the lawsuit continues. There'll be further hearings on this because this was not a permanent order. This was a temporary temporary injunction that was granted. The court found that Fairfield Glade holdings or land holdings and the Fairfield Glade Community Club showed that they are likely to succeed in their interpretation of the covenants. And as stated previously, further public statements will be made only as appropriate and consistent with the litigation process as new information becomes available. So there'll be further hearings as we go through those processes. Those hearings, we will report back what the results of those were. I want to remind everyone that the annual meeting is set for 10 a.m. here on Friday, September 18th. That's when we'll go through the annual meeting. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to try again. All right. The annual meeting will be separate September 18th, 10 a.m. here in this building. That's when we'll go through our annual processes and reports, and also when the election results will be announced at the end of that meeting. So if you're interested in all that, please come. If you can't come, it'll be live streamed and it'll also be recorded, so you'll have an opportunity to see it there. That is the President's report. So, Treasurer's report. Mary Kay and Jason.
Excuse me, as of July 31st, 2026, the combined cash flow from operations tells a highly positive story. Sewer operations net surplus year-to-date is $164,326, which is favorable to the budget by by $55,456. POA and amenities combined net surplus is $171,798, which is favorable to the budgeted deficit by $955,906. Our sewer infrastructure continues to perform efficiently and generate stable financial returns. Revenue reached $1.77 million, beating the budget by $25,540. This success was driven primarily by strong residential sewer fees, which are tracking at $25,544, favorable to the budget. Expenses total $1.6 million, which is $29,915 lower than budgeted. Operational savings were realized through temporary payroll vacancies and lower utility costs. The savings comfortably offset an unbudgeted state regulatory fee of $9,500 that occurs once every 5 years. In the POA division, administration was $707,127, favorable to budget. To date, we've received $483,000 in timeshare assessments. Community maintenance finished $331,330, favorable to the budget due to a $113,000 increase in ACC fines, alongside delayed timing and repairs and landscaping expenditures. Public safety, the police department finished $233,282 over budget due to temporary gasoline cost spikes and $62,000 in emergency shift coverage and overtime training. Management fully anticipates that a pending $54,000 grant reimbursement will cover the bulk of the overtime later in this year. In the amenities division, amenities sector recorded a year-to-date net loss of $879,238, though this position is actually $84,262 ahead of budget projections. In golf, with 11.5 inches of rain in July, golf's performance led to a deficit of just $100,528, but still pacing $264,205 favorable to budget. While retail merchandise sales were lower, overall payroll and chemical expenses kept golf highly efficient. The center performed strongly with a deficit of $322,209, which is $82,927 favorable to budget. Facility rentals increased at 47% above budget, and previous weather closures kept early year payroll expenses well under forecast. Food and beverage finished $234,178 unfavorable to budget, with a total year-to-date deficit of $398,905. Soft member dining depressed sales volume. Simultaneously, cost increased because we are intentionally overstaffing and training new employees ahead of the grand opening of the new Druid Hills Clubhouse. We consider this labor spike a necessary and planned investment for long-term operational excellence. On the balance sheet and cash reserves, our financial foundation remains strong, asset-backed, and highly liquid. Total assets positioned at $82,369,610 for the POA and amenities, and $16,565,265 for sewer funds. Operating cash is $3.6 million for POA, and sewer is $467,000. Capital cash is 5.6 POA and 4.3 for sewer. Reserve cash is 6.5, earmarked specifically for major repair and replacement cycles. In conclusion, the community's financial health is robust. Revenues in administration and cost management and maintenance and golf are safely subsidizing our planned investments in food and beverage, hospitality, training, and public safety. We are well positioned to close out the year in a solid financial posture. Thank you.
Okay. Jason, you have anything to add? I don't. You want to talk about the reserve study, though, where we are? And
McGill.
yeah, the McGill study, yeah, both, the sewer study and the reserve study.
Right, so I'll start with the reserve study. Thank you for the question, Bruce. We submitted the reserve study on August the 18th. Primarily, we changed the parameters of the reserve study. Initially, we had requested a type 2 study, which is an update to the previous reserve study that was performed by Hart Advisors. We felt that for us to really change the scope of the whole program and encompass everything that's included in Fairfield Glade, we changed that from a type 2 study back to a type 1 study, which is completely scrapping the previous study and starting over. We chose 4 different providers for this, and we submitted the RFPs, the official RFPs, on August the 18th. We have heard back from all 4 of the individual companies that are going to be bidding on the process. Submission for them to intend to bid is by August the 31st. And then we have pre-submittal technical questions deadline by September the 4th. The complete and proposal submission deadline for these type 1 studies are Friday, September the 18th. So that is the crux of when we will be able to inform the membership and the board of the final cost for the type 1 study, and then give a better idea in terms of the time frame for completion.
McGill.
McGill.
The McGill study for the sewer, Scott Perkins, who is the director of the wastewater treatment, we were supposed to receive the final reserve study, the sewer study by mid-May. That did not happen. Scott Perkins has reached out to them, and they are considering 90% complete. There is a final piece with McGill that their office in Asheville, North Carolina. Once that is wrapped up, and we anticipate receiving the complete McGill study by mid-September.
Okay.
Jason, could you share a little bit about the scope of what that McGill study is and how it relates to the last 10-year plan we had?
So the McGill study is, I don't want to call it an update. It's more encompassing than the previous McGill study. It's going more towards a 3-year time frame, but a 10-year look. So we are looking at we expanded the scope of the original study to kind of coincide with the CCMP, and then for us to also take into consideration the reserve study. The individual scope, I would have to get back to the board in reference to the individual items.
Okay? All right. If you have questions on that, you can ask them at the end with member questions, okay? General Manager's report, Bill?
Good morning. Can everyone hear me? Okay, good. I want to give you an update, obviously, first on the projects. With regard to Druid, well, and then I'll speak more globally, but as far as the nuts and bolts, all the rough-in inspections for the framing, plumbing, electrical, and HVAC are complete. Final inspections are scheduled but will not commence until the kitchen hoods and all the kitchen equipment is tested, which the codes department just approved for inspection. So they have been tested this week, and they're now lining up to have them incorporated into their final inspections on the kitchen portion. The generator has been tested, and starting up training and maintenance procedures are scheduled this week. A final walkthrough by the building codes inspector and the Cumberland County Fire Chief is being scheduled. Our certificate of occupancy should be issued shortly thereafter. The question about why the delay, unfortunately, for me, it's kind of deja vu all over again. Been a privilege to be a part of about 7 clubhouse construction projects in my career, and unfortunately, this is when you get into the interiors, things begin to drag. The GCs have control over a lot of the large subs. They work with them on a number of projects. They come in, they are familiar, they're answering, they're ready to move on to other jobs, and so forth. And so the building portion, the shell and all that tends to go very on schedule, if not ahead of schedule. Once you get inside, you have tradesmen, local folks, sometimes more skilled laborers, mill work, things of that nature. And the reality is they're not always there every day. That just happens. They get pulled away. They're smaller. They have other demands and things. And so the GC has been trying to keep pushing this. You also run into overlaps where this area has to be inspected before this can be done. The GC has been working on that as much as possible, but with that, as well as getting scheduled on what we need with the county inspectors to come out at the appropriate times, it did lead to about 30 days of delays. We hope that we will get that CO sooner than the 25th. Unfortunately, though, we can't plan on that. So we have already put things in motion that have to happen before we can do the grand opening. For instance, recruitment and retention of employees here across the board is always a challenge and a factor for us at Fairfield Glade in our labor market. We've had shortfalls all year, golf maintenance, community maintenance, and we continue to operate and do the work around those. You, from a member experience standpoint, going about your day-to-day, do not feel the direct impact of that. It's quite different when we're short people in the dining room or at the bar or in the kitchen. That has an immediate impact on your experience. So recruiting is critical to get ramped up and to have people in place. With that, we have already scheduled a job fair. I asked HR we've been reaching out. We had a reach out just recently, about 3 weeks ago, with TCAT that they sponsored, and we had our food and beverage representatives there, and we did get some hires from there. But I felt that it would have a real impact and be very good for us throughout the community to host a job fair in the actual facility at that clubhouse. For those that are interested, can come in and they can see the facility and get a feel and get some excitement about where they're going to be working. So that is scheduled for September 21st. Likewise, we have to allow the food and beverage team, it's a manufacturing process. They have to get acclimated in their new environs and to have some soft opening is what it's called, but do some staged meals and so that we can't get those scheduled yet until that happens. So the likelihood, even if we got the CO, certificate of occupancy, a week in advance, 10 days in advance of the 25th, it's not going to be able to have much of an impact on when we could open sooner. So as it stands right now, our grand opening is going to be the first week of October. We are going to have an event, as we've always said, for those of us, all of you, to come and have a grand opening reception. We are scheduled immediately following that on that Thursday to have the Cumberland County Chamber of Commerce to come and do a formal ribbon cutting, followed by a business after hours. Because this is an important facility and celebration for all of Cumberland County. It is a beautiful facility. I think all of you will be very proud and excited once you get to experience it. But it is open. We are open, as you know, to not only our residents, but to our guests and our fellow citizens here in Cumberland County. So we want that message out there and to let them know, and our business leaders throughout the county, that we're here and we want their business. So that is there was another question, the impact on that from a budget standpoint was about $100,000 in revenue that will not be realized in the month of September. So, and that will have an impact. We've had other throughout. We couldn't operate the food truck like we had budgeted for snack bar at the job site, construction site, because it just didn't fit. It didn't work. So if you recall, we had to transfer in June the snack bar operation into the golf garage there. So that was a negative impact. But things like that happen. I mean, that's construction. You plan as best you can. You have to make assumptions, and sometimes those assumptions are accurate, and sometimes they're not. But you move forward. So the result is that revenue is lost, but we have to have the staff on. We have to build up. So we will have those payroll. Hopefully that we get the recruitment and retention that we need to get to the grand opening. So, there's going to be some impact. So with that, and obviously, if we'll have questions later, but I wanted to share that with you. I think that's pretty much an oversight of where we are with right now with Druid. Emergency services complex update. The timber framing at the main entrance is I believe is complete or nearing completion. Once that has finished, the roofers have finished the shingles work on the roof. Electricians, plumbers, and HVAC trades are making a showing in all areas. Windows and doors are scheduled to begin installation within the next couple of weeks. Rock work is scheduled to begin right after the doors and windows are set. New fire hydrant will be installed soon. Final site grading will begin once all the utilities are installed. Siding will begin to be installed as soon as the soffit material and look is agreed upon and finalized. We have made up some progress from the times we lost. If you recall earlier on when we ended up, despite what the architect had told us, the building did have to go before the state Tennessee Fire Marshal for approval, and there was about a month delay there. So we are making up, as the GC promised, making up significant on that time. So with that, I'd like to move on to the Racket Center expansion project. Excuse me, let me get my... So the parking lot is taking shape on the Racket Center expansion project, and soon the fill will make its way to this section where the front of the facility will set. The general contractor, ETC, approved the placement of utility feeds from Stonehenge Drive. Once the compaction has completed, final inspection of the utilities and storm drainage will be once there's final inspection on the utility feeds, the utilities and storm drainage will be installed. The plan is to begin footer installation as soon as the fill reaches subgrade, which should be around mid-September. Submittals for interior finishes and other components for final approval expected within the next few weeks. The metal building has now been cleared, has been ordered. We had to get a lot of things in place before that it's been on hold, but it has been ordered. It's scheduled for delivery at the end of September, early October. The best we can, right now, the scheduled opening is for March of 2027, which was the first quarter was always the goal. So we're, okay. With that, I'd like to just show you a few slides. That back veranda area is really great. It's quite wide. Of course, just a reminder, it has the ceiling fans as well as heaters that are mounted up in the ceilings, and roll-down screens will be installed as well. So we could get as much as, of course, Mother Nature always has other ideas, but these screens are great year-round. You can be out there as you know, on a nice summer day, and the wind's blowing 20 miles an hour, and you're fighting, to keep your napkins and whatnot. So those screens will help buffer some of that. Also, any glare or angles of the sun that changes from throughout the year, that will help make that more comfortable. So, it's going to be easily an 8-month, if possibly 9 months, that you can enjoy being out on that veranda area. And you can see down there in the lower left, or lower right, that's the fire pit, that circle. There will be soft seating all around the fire pit where you can relax and enjoy your favorite adult beverage or whatever the case may be, and visit. And then it will be a transition area where you can walk down from there to the quarry. So the quarry is right there. The quarry is the putting course that was installed in phase 1 of this project, and has been a huge success. So you can go down there and you can book a putting tournament with your group of friends if you like. Our golf packages that come after golf can book likewise tournaments. You can go down there and practice putt, whatever the case. Anyway, it's a beautiful transition. The vistas down number 9 are spectacular. So it's just really, really exciting. So in the inside, you see those on the second floor there, the windows, all of that natural light cascades. You're a 2-story, 30-foot ceilings. They're beautiful millwork on the ceilings. And all that natural light cascades into the dining area. We've got 100 seats in the main dining area, including a 20-seat bar, which also has about, of those 20, 4 or 5 are on the exterior portion, so you can sit outside at the bar as well, and so forth. So,
Hey, Bill.
whoop, let me go back real quick. Yep.
Can you talk about the concrete wall?
Yes. The concrete wall, 2 items to back up. First of all, that wall, retention wall, from what's an initial design by the architect, was going to result in a grade in that parking lot that was probably going to make Stonehenge seem like a flat surface. It was a pretty significant incline, and that was decided that had to be leveled. The park, in addition, an additional row of parking was added because of once you had the final plans, the amount of parking, there was a concern, so another row of parking was added. As a result, the determination was made to make that parking lot flatter, and as a result, that wall had to come up somewhat from what the original to retain. I can tell you, it's a beautiful flat parking lot. It is but you have this wall. That wall originally was called for, and you can see it in some of the renderings that the architect did, called for rock work. Once we got the totals on that rock work, and that was a great aspiration, it was going to be in excess of $300,000 in rock work, and it just did not fit the project's budget. So it had to be eliminated. The walls, both on the one side, and as you're going up Lakeview, this is the point in which you've got about a third of that wall that you're seeing coming up that. The wall on that, as you're facing you as you're going up Lakeview, as well as the other wall, will be primed, stained to a forest green that matches the exterior color of the clubhouse. It'll also be benefit as you're coming up number 9 fairway as a golfer. That wall will be softened by being that color as opposed to a stark concrete, because you do see a portion of it as you're hitting into the green. It's not significant, but it's a minority. So that will be stained forest green. The berm on the side, I don't have my bearings, but as you're going up, closest as you're going up, there's a berm between that service drive and the home. We have that lot there. That lot has been cleaned up as we speak, because as we get closer to completion, that berm has been graded, and there will be plantings and evergreens that go into that area. The evergreens that have been spec'd are fast growing. We're getting purchasing caliper of about 8 feet, and they will grow in the coming year significantly, several feet, and within about 2 years there'll be another 8 feet in growth. So those will be, in that area will be, Shane is working on that with his crew. He's the golf course superintendent at Druid. Now on the other side, where the parking lot comes down, it's a very steep grade there to road. That is being addressed now as well, and there will be natural native grasses, kind of flowy type grasses and other plant material that will be planted there. But there will also be 3 flagpoles that will go right there on the other side of that wall. The tallest, of course, being the American flag, the flag of Tennessee, and the flag of the club. And so that, as your eye is coming up Lakeview, you're going to see, you're not going to be just zeroed in as it is right now in that stark wall and everything so barren. You're going to have some softening with the landscaping, the staining, painting of the wall, and then your eye is drawn to these flagpoles. As you get up, of course, remember, as you turn in, there's the monument sign. And it's a very beautiful monument sign that will have the logo and the name of Druid Hills. So that's going to be the entrance area. It's going to be very nice. So all total, that came for the staining of the wall, the landscaping, and the flagpoles, $35,000, and it works within the budget.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill.
So just real quick, I mean, not a lot real exciting going other than we have made progress, and it's really taken shape. You can see the bays, 3 bays for the fire department on the left, the 2 bays on the right for EMS. You have the main entrance there in the middle for the offices and overnight facilities and the like, and kitchens and so forth are in that main portion for our first responders. The backside. And this is the Racket Center expansion site. And there you have it. Okay, I'll address any additional questions or comments you may have later. All right.
Okay. Harry Hibbs, ACC report.
Harry is on personal leave today, so Tiffany, she
Okay.
was to be here. All right, I'll speak to Harry. Why, I don't know. Tiffany was supposed to present on his behalf.
Okay. Well, we'll have the report out. We'll put it out.
Well, I'll make sure. I don't know. I have not heard from Tiffany. I don't know what happened with that, but that was the understanding. So I'll coordinate and make sure that report is posted on the website as soon as possible. Okay? My apologies for that.
All right. Thank you. Mark McLean.
I think he covered it all, Greg. Really not much else. Great job, by the way.
Okay. Old business, there is none. Like I said, I'm going to move the sewer availability fee discussion up because we have one board member that I don't know when she's going to need to drop off. She's not here, obviously, Ellen Anderson. So let's go on ahead and get into that. And, all right, go on ahead.
I was derelict, and there was some questions, Tom, you had about the food and beverage cost of sales. Again, the management programs are kicking in. It's been really since March that we took it back in-house. And the management team is starting to see, I think it's through our, there's better oversight. Inventories controls are there with the new folks that they're working with and putting the programs in place. Our purchasing has been streamlined. Menu engineering, menu oversight, just we're continuing. We're not waiting till, okay, it's fall, let's put out a fall menu. Oh, it's what menu is going to be changing as based on market. If we have items on the menu that are sitting there that aren't selling, in order to improve our menu mix as well as control waste, those items are coming off. So we've had 3 menu tweaks, changes, since we took over to that menu at Stonehenge. You can, it's going to take some time to get these ramped up. We've hired in some senior managers that are very experienced and skilled and will assist us as we go forward, and we bring Druid on. But we have pro formas in place that were done originally by the steering committee. This is for Druid I'm speaking for, that were done by some very strong financial minds here, and they have their assumptions as far as covers and all of that. Those were slightly altered and have been adapted based on the lack of the timeshares and the impact of Wyndham that we went through. So the total covers that we are budgeting for in Druid have been altered, as well as the check averages we anticipate. All of those are being tweaked as we go forward. Our staffing, our needs for from a staffing standpoint And then all of next year, our focus will be on Druid in that operation. We have no historical data. We've made our best educated assumptions, and collectively, and we need support. I mean, even where we are now, there is, when you look at food and beverage, the one thing that's not in there, that's because I made that decision from a management standpoint, is the Bobby Jones Links would not take the contract unless they got all of the snack bar revenue. And they operated with all the snack bars. From a management standpoint, allowing golf to assist in the food and beverage operation of those snack bars, because staff is there, they have, golf staff is willing to help and step in and oversee. Heatherhurst and Druid all year have been, they're part of food and beverage all. We don't report it, but it is part of the total food and beverage. We may see a change in that, but because the management standpoint, it is in our interest to have it structured, in my opinion, the way it is. All that being said, as we are today, it's a $100,000 swing to the good on all 4 snack bars since compared to where we were this time last year. Well, it's about 95,000 actually. So that's an improvement that's not fully encapsulated. It's you can see it in the snack bar dashboard. But when you look at Stonehenge, and the bottom line, I think we're year to date at 24% revenue shortfall. And I mean, we're not unique. The food and beverage industry across the country is hurting. Wholesale food costs, you all know what the price of groceries are. You're experiencing it. Many of you are choosing not to eat out as much, but all of us are with the inflation. And we're seeing that. You know, I think we've improved service, we've improved the quality of the product, and we'll continue to do that because it's about, in my view, the experience. You create the experience, and folks will come. So, but when you look at the revenue shortfall, that there's certainly wholesale food costs that drives our pricing. And with regard to pricing, I want to make sure the record's straight. When Bobby Jones Links took over, one of their reasons, assumptions of part of that takeover is they needed to raise the prices because what we were charging the residents or the current folks was was not competitive. They raised prices between 15 and 20% across the menu, and in return allowed the residents to have a 20% discount, so that way they were capturing the full revenue. We, in sensitivity to that, gave an 11% discount across the board on the menu once we took over. Back, if you recall, that was communicated at 1st of March. And then likewise implemented the preferred dining program, which discounts are available through the preferred dining to reward those that support food and beverage. And so that's the principle and the assumptions and all that are built in and are approved. And anyway, we are look forward to better days ahead on both the wholesale food cost front and inflation, as well as having a facilities and operations that y'all are excited about and willing to go to. And next year also, it's important to remember, a lot of our golfing community has not really been able to fully enjoy Stonehenge after a afternoon round of golf, because for years since COVID, when Legends closed, as well as with Bobby Jones Links, that has been the a la carte dining option. So by 3 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, they're having to shift to get ready for the evening menu, dinner menu, and also have reservations of tables. And so golfers in the afternoon were displaced from being able to fully come in there and enjoy that deck and that view and camaraderie with friends and relax. That will be available in 2027. So just those points. I hope those are helpful. And well, if you have any more comments or questions, we'll take them at a later time. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. we'll get into the sewer availability deferral program. Again, this is not a policy change. The policies are staying the same. This is a special program that we're putting in place to incent building and development. So, MK?
Thank you. Next slide, please. You have to- Okay, I'm going to give you some of the program basics as far as what this program is all about. It's called the Sewer Availability Fee Deferral Program, and it acts as an economic driver to accelerate residential growth within a designated POA development zone. Rather than eliminating fees, it delays collection until homes are completed and occupied, ensuring long-term sewer revenue security. Some of the parameters of the program are it's temporary in nature. The program automatically sunsets once construction within the development zone is completed to the fullest extent. It has a broad application. It applies universally to all property owners within the zone, including member owners, builders, and the declarant. It's guaranteed revenue. It shifts the collection timeline without compromising the ultimate payment to the club wastewater services. Next slide. Okay. Thanks. It is in compliance with the 1997 CNRs, Article 6 and 8. Section 2D explicitly empowers the board to establish, modify, and manage utility availability fees. It fulfills the core purpose from Article 6, Section 2A that mandates that policies encourage residential development as a desirable retirement resort community. And there is an established precedence when we revised the amenity reserve fee program in February of this year. We added the preferred builder amenity reserve fee deferral program. The targeted development zone, what area is included? This one's going to be, you're going to have to use your imaginations. I tried to do it on a map, and the area is way too big. It primarily encompasses most of the southeast section of Fairfield Glade. So that's an area below Peavine from the eastern Sneed Drive. That's the Sneed Drive section that the Lutheran Church is located on. The western boundary is Sneed Drive to Hammersmith Road, following the western boundary along Hammersmith and Marmaduke. So you're getting down near Chestnut Hill. Obviously, Chestnut Hill Road is the southern boundary, and east boundary from the intersection, so Chestnut Hill Road up to Feevine, and kind of follows the Daddy's Creek area. So you can see the large area that this does encompass. Fees become fully payable within 48 months of the notice that sewer availability fee is in effect. When we do a sewer extension, the property owners receive 4 letters. One that they're doing the engineering studies, that the engineering studies have been completed, and the 4th letter is when they're notified that sewer availability fees are due. That's the current process. When we go into this new program, when they receive that 4th notice, that's a time when they can elect to defer payment. With that 48-month period, there are also earlier milestones where that payment will become due. And the sewer availability fee collected at the time of any milestone fulfillment shall be calculated using the active fee rate schedule in effect at the time the delayed payment is made. The sewer availability fee is recalculated based on the engineering news record that puts out the estimated rates for this kind of construction throughout the construction industry. For member-owned lots, a certificate of occupancy date for new residential construction will trigger the milestone date, sale of the currently held property to a third party. So during this 48-month period, if you sell your lot to someone, then the sewer availability fee will come due, or 48 months max from the date of the sewer line installation. On declarant lots, the closing date for any new residential construction, the sale of property currently held to a third party, or the 48-month max. For builder-owned lots, the closing date for new residential construction sale to a third party, or the 48-month max. And finally, the economic benefits and financial protections. First, it's going to increase activity. Reduces upfront project friction to boost building permits, lot absorption, and construction speed. It makes assessment expansion. Every completed home expands the long-term community assessment base, sewer fees, and amenity usage. Number 3, long-term utility growth establishes permanent recurring monthly sewer customers that far outweigh short-term upfront collections. Number 4, local job creation. It'll stimulate the regional economic vitality through construction, employment, supplier purchases, and professional services. And finally, inflation-adjusted recovery. Collection utilizes active fee rates at milestone fulfillment, protecting against inflation. And now Jason is going to show you the economic benefits of doing this.
I'm actually going to step over to the monitor so I can actually point. There's a lot of information on each slide. So the St. George Village Development Analysis, this is a 5-year view, a 5-year financial impact and project considerations. From an executive snapshot, total revenue for the entire project is approximately $3.14 million. Net contribution is approximately $2.3. We have sewer costs over the entire multiphasic project. We did years 1 through 5, but that's going to be market driven based on sales. We have total sewer costs of $818,000, and a breakout of that is $1.26 million of that is going to be our capital revenue. From an annual trajectory revenue ramp up, as you can see from year 1, we have low revenue. We have costs almost matching, and then our net income for year 1 is moderate. But as you can see over the years that our costs for the sewer stays the same, our revenue increases, and also our net income. In year 1, we're going to receive $289,000 projected revenue on an expense of $218,000. Year 2, $435,000 in projected revenue on expense of $153,000. Year 3, $624,000 on expense of $153,000. As you can see, our sewer costs are remaining the same. And these are costs for placing the actual sewer line, not the tap fees or the capacity. Year 4, $855,000 in potential revenue based on costs of $143,000. And in year 5, we have $934,000 and projected revenue on cost of $153,000. The revenue mix, we have 2 lines that produce most of the 5-year value. Our revenue streams, number 1, amenity reserve fees. These are the costs or the fees that we receive for transfers. We expect on a 5-year time frame, $1.2 million or 38% of the total projected revenue. Our sewer tap fees, we are projecting $1.1 million, which is approximately 34% of our projected revenue. The sewer capacity fee, which is $246,000, is approximately 8% of our projected revenue. Permits for the ACC for the new home builds, we are projecting $212,000 or roughly 7% of our projected revenue. Number 5, member assessments. These are the increases from the C lots to the A lots. And this is recurring revenue that we will receive not only during the development period, but ongoing. We are expecting 197,000 in projected revenue, or 6%. Also the sewer service, which is the $30 that we charge for the residential sewer fees, or approximately 81,000. This is also recurring revenue that we'll receive during the project time as well as going forward. The fund impact, the capital revenues drive the largest net benefit. We have 3 tranches in terms of revenue and expenses. POA is one of our revenue. We also have sewer, and then the capital. POA, $444,000 is the total revenue. We don't have any associated expense, so that goes straight to the bottom line. $444,000 net. Sewer, $1.4 million on an expense of $818,000. That is a net of $621,000. Capital is $1.3 million. That also is the R fees in the capital, which is 25% of our assessments. That will be a net of $1.3 million total, $3.1 on an expense of $818, which is a $2.3 net expectation over the time frame. The development assumptions and the phasing path, the total lots within the St. George Village, within the development zone, there are 300 total lots. The split between, for the assessments, 75% of our assessments and 75% of the sanitation go to the POA, 25% go to the capital. We are anticipating 50 lots will be opened up each year during each phase. We have this, and from a financial standpoint, years 1 through 5, but it's based on market pace, and it's going to be market driven. So phase 1 could actually be over 2 years. We don't know exactly, but we took a conservative approach and did years 1 through 5 for this exercise. And we are anticipating 20 sales annually within that development zone. The major fee drivers, the amenity reserve fees is the largest fee driver at $1.2 million. It starts in year 1 receiving $7,000 per transfer. And those, if you remember from the 10-year capital plan, $10,000 will be the end result of what we have on the amenity reserve fees. The 5 year is the total largest single revenue line. $1.1 million in the residential tap fees is used right now in 2026 dollars. The tap fee, based on the current ENR, is $7,960 per tap fee. $246,000 is the single family capacity fee, and those in this model will be $1,820, and again, that's based on 2026 ENR. $81,000 is the monthly service fee at $30. The sewer $30 fee has not changed for several years, and according to our budget for 2027, we have not increased that fee based on assumptions. And that's the end of my slides. Thank you.
Okay. Summing up a little bit, and I'll try to give you a quick summary because there's some key points that I think are important in this whole thing. Number one, the pace down there, even though we have projections and everything, will be market driven. So if homes aren't selling, we ain't laying sewer, and they aren't building, and the roads aren't going in, okay? So there's an automatic stop if these assumptions don't come out the way we think they will. So, yeah, they'll slow down. So that's kind of built in. Second of all property owners, regardless of who that is, whether it's another builder, whether it's LLC, whether it's a private property owner, whether it's Fairfield Glade Homes, whoever it is, we can equally participate in this program. But it's a key thing to remember, and what MK talked about was this fourth letter that we send out for sewer. That's when we tell people, here's your bill. When that comes out, if you have not transferred the property, so let's say Tom owns one, okay, and he hasn't given that property or sold that property to a builder or someone else, when that property is sold, let's say it's a year later, the fees come due. So you don't automatically get the 4-year fee if you wait until after that fourth letter goes out. You're going to get whatever fee when that property gets transferred at that point, whether it's year 1, 2, 3, or 4. So that's a key component part here. All other fees, as you saw from Jason's presentation, are coming in just like they do. The only fee right now, and this is current pricing, is $2,175. That is what the sewer availability fee is. And then finally, again, the transfer is very important because that's the date that the fees will come due if it hasn't happened before the fourth letter goes out. So that's the program in a nutshell. We think it's a winner for everyone. You can certainly see from the financials, it's not putting a drain on the club. As a matter of fact, it's probably going to be helpful to us as we go through this. This is phase one of goodness knows how many phases. As MK said, that property is fairly large down there, and it's done that way purposely. So the whole reason why we're showing you 5 years is there'll be additional 5 years, 5 years, 5 years as the other areas get developed, but the economics are only going to get better, not worse. Okay? So with that in mind, is there any other comments by board members? All right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do a vote, but we're going to do a roll call. There can be one of three votes: a yes to the program, a no to the program, or an abstention. Okay? So, Pat, will you do the roll?
We have to make a motion.
Well, yeah, that's true. Okay, let's do that first.
Okay, I'm going to read the motion to approve and implement the sewer availability fee deferral program. Whereas the Fairfield Glade Community Club, the club operating as a property owners association, is authorized under Section 6 and Section 8 of the amended and restated covenants and restrictions to establish, modify, and manage utility availability fees within its designated development areas. And whereas the primary purpose of the club is mandated by Article 6, Section 2 of the CNRs is to encourage the residential development of Fairfield Glade as a desirable and viable resort retirement community. And whereas pursuant to Section 5.13, page 9 of the Attorney General's letter of assurance of voluntary compliance, the club is mandated to cooperate with Fairfield Resorts Incorporated or its corporate successors in interest, FGH Land Tennessee LLC, in the development of sewer lines as roads are paved. And whereas shifting the timing of the sewer availability fee via a structured yet temporary deferral program accelerates residential absorption, expands the recurring customer utility base, and increases long-term assessment and fee revenue without permanently waiving the asset's underlying value. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Fairfield Glade Community Club that, number one, program establishment. The sewer availability fee deferral program is hereby approved and adopted for the targeted growth and development zone within the POA jurisdiction effective September 1st, 2026. The program applies to all properties within the designated development zone regardless of ownership. The program will sunset when all properties in the designated development zone are fully built out, subject to terrain and drainage adjustments as approved by the Architectural Control Office. The development zone targeted for this program are the specific platted lots within the area bounded by North Peavine Road from Sneed Drive east to the eastern boundary of Fairfield Glade, west Sneed Drive to its intersection with Hammersmith, and along the western boundary of Fairfield Glade, generally following Hammersmith Road and Marmaduke Drive, south, the southern boundary of Fairfield Glade, north of Chestnut Hill Road, east, the eastern boundary of Fairfield Glade from the intersection of Chestnut Hill Road and Westchester Drive north to Peavine Road. Number two, fee deferral period and rate application. The applicable period of deferral commences when sewer is extended in front of the property and the property owner received notice from the club that sewer availability fee is now in effect and becomes fully payable within 48 months of the date of the notice, or the payment of the sewer availability fee becomes due at the occurrence of the earliest milestone. For those platted lots which are currently member-owned, the certificate of occupancy date for new residential construction or the sale of the currently held property to a third party, or 48 months from the date of the installation of the sewer collection line. For those properties owned by the declarant for the purpose of constructing residences, the closing date for new residential construction sale to a third party or the sale of currently held property to a third party, or 48 months from the installation of the date of the sewer collection line. For builders who purchase platted properties for the sole purpose of constructing residences, the closing date for new residential construction sale to a third party or 48 months from the date of the installation of the sewer collection line. Be it further resolved that the dollar amount of the sewer availability fee collected at the time of milestone fulfillment shall be calculated using the active fee rate schedule in effect at the time the delayed payment is made, rather than the historical rate in effect when the sewer collection line was installed and the property owner received notice of the sewer availability fee due payment. Number one, for program review and transparency, the program shall include explicit sunset clauses and performance metrics. Management is directed to conduct an annual programmatic audit to track and present the following performance measures to the board: total number of new homes constructed under the program, total amount of deferred fees successfully collected, incremental utility customer growth and recurring monthly revenue expansion, and the localized expansion of the community's asset assessment base.
Okay. We have a motion and we have a second?
I second.
Yep. Okay, Pat, would you please read the roll call?
Ellen Anderson? Yes. Scott Hardeman?
Yes.
Monica Hassel?
Yes.
M.K. Jacobson?
Yes.
Greg Jones?
Yes.
Mark McLean?
Yes.
Isaac Zerker?
I would just like to add before I vote on this, I am voting no because, as far as I can tell, this is the declarant asking the club to cash flow his development. My vote is no.
Please come to order. What's the tally, Pat? Pat, what's the tally? 6-1?
6-1.
Okay, as part of this, before we move on, I'm going to read a statement into the record. I, Greg Jones, President of the Fairfield Glade Community Club Board of Directors, am reading the following statement into the record of Fairfield Glade Board of Directors meeting of August 27th, 2026. Board member Isaac Zerker, at the board workshop meeting of August 26, 2026, on his own stated he was going to recuse himself for the vote of the sewer availability fee deferral programs since he owns somewhere around 32 lots in this area. There was no other discussion on this matter. On Wednesday, August 26, 2026, at 4:11 p.m., Isaac Zerker sent the following the following email, and I'm going to read it into the record. When Greg asked me in our meeting today whether I would vote on the sewer availability fee charge, I said I would abstain because I own lots in the proposed area. After more consideration, I plan to vote on this issue given that it has a financial impact on the entire membership, and I was elected to represent the membership. On Wednesday, I believe, please, this isn't an entertainment thing. I believe his vote today directly violated the self-written statement Isaac gave to the board on October. Come to order, or we'll adjourn and do this. Wait. On October 23rd, 2026, the statement that he gave the board on October 3rd said, from him, subject request for information regarding potential conflict of interest. Greg, please sit down. Please sit down, or we will clear the room. As you know, I am a home builder in Fairfield Glade. As part of the operation, I build homes for clients on their own lots, as well as on lots that I own. It would be a conflict of interest if I were to promote or vote for the utility and road improvements that would directly benefit properties I own. It makes no difference. It makes no difference what the vote was from the person who has the conflict, whether it was a yes or a no vote. What matters is there was a conflict that was stated by the board member directly saying that he did have a conflict. He said it both in his statement.
Greg.
He said it both in his statement to the board when in October 3rd and also at the workshop yesterday. I want that put into the record. Okay, we'll move on. We will move on. Okay, other new business. Presentation on the recommendation of the Comprehensive Community Master Plan.
Okay, the Comprehensive Community Master Plan. The objectives of the plan will serve as a guiding document for
Please,
future boards.
please, let's let the presentation go on. Go on, please.
The plan will serve as a guiding document for future boards in their decision-making for community-wide development over the next 5 to 30 years, making recommendations for land use, the common properties, and facility designation and construction, neighborhood development planning in collaboration with the declarant, planning for infrastructure and public safety needs in conjunction with the county, the Fairfield Glade Fire Department, Fairfield Glade Police Department, and applicable utilities. B, the plan will take into consideration existing constructs that address the mission, vision, and goals of FGCC to include the governing documents, the strategic plan, public safety strategic plan, reserve study, capital improvement funding plan, 10-year wastewater treatment and sewer plan, staffing study, and declarant agreement, among others. The plan will incorporate community input from members, the board of directors, GM and senior management team, declarant, board advisory committee members, county and state government officials, and other key stakeholders such as the utility providers and Crossville, pardon me? No. The RFP was sent to.
All right.
That's it.
I know you guys want to talk, and you'll get your opportunity in board and member comments. But for right now, please keep the order of the meeting. I'm sorry, MK, continue on.
The RFP was sent to 6 firms. 4 firms provided proposals. The selection committee was comprised of GM Bill Ward, board member Monica Heisel, CFO Jason Lambert, strategic planning member Mark Carlock, and myself. Based on a review of the proposals, we determined there were 2 firms that we wished to interview. Following the interviews, we selected Town Planning and Urban Design Collaborative, LLC, TPUDC. They are a national multidisciplinary company based in Franklin, Tennessee that specializes in planning, urban design, public process, and coding. TPUDC has worked with towns, cities, developers, and nonprofit organizations across the country. As the name suggests, they bring together a multidisciplinary team of experts from within their organization and other consultants tailored to meet the needs of the project. Bill Ward will now provide you a presentation on the CCMP. Bill? Bill?
Bill?
Okay, just wanted to go over some of the fundamentals of the plan. As you know, this plan has been in the works and recommended through Strategic Planning Committee and others, I believe, as far back as 2018. We are now at that point. We've been talking about this for some time, even earlier this year. Okay, Okay, the guiding document for Fairfield Glade Community Club covering the next 5 to 30 years. That is what a community master plan is. It addresses 4 core areas. Number 1, amenities. 2, community services. 3, community utilities. And 4, commercial and recreational facilities. The goal is a self-contained, town-like environment built around a high quality of life and a strong sense of community. What makes the community master plan successful? People. You drew it. Do you want this to go on, or you want to call a vote?
Yes, go on.
Okay. The high priority input is from members, board of directors, operations, city, county, and state government, utility operators, other key stakeholders. Who uses the plan? The board of directors, the strategic planning committee, the general manager, and the senior management and operations team. Who benefits? Members, visitors, and guests. Community master plan is used optimally to plan and manage community development. The project scope, number 1, is a guiding document. It develops a community master plan that will serve as a guiding document for Fairfield Glade Community Club in executing community-wide development over the next 5 to 30 years. Number 2, it is aligned with community vision. Ensure recommendations for development align with the community's vision, mission, goals, covenants and restrictions, bylaws, Fairfield Glade Community Club policies, and declarant agreements. 3, integrated planning. Integrate objectives from the Fairfield Glade Community Club strategic plan, public safety strategic plan, reserve studies, capital improvement funding plans, 10-year wastewater treatment plans, and sewer plan, and other planning documents. 4, market and resource realities. Incorporate current relevant market trends and the impact of projected financial and human resources. The selection process. RFP was sent out to 6 identified firms that had experience and qualifications that met with the RFP, invited them. Of the 6 that were invited, 4 submitted project plans and bids. They were reviewed by the selection committee, and questions were asked of their submittals. Final interviews were held with the final 2 candidates in detail and their teams. And the winner is Town Planning and Urban Design Collaborative. These are their principals. Brian Wright is the principal owner. Ann Blevins is the co-project manager for this particular community master plan for Fairfield Glade. Brian Hudson is co-project manager. Jessica Wilson is their director of planning. Korika Zivak, graphic designer. Matt Noonkester will be the planning of the infrastructure. Trip Muldrow, economics. And Natalie Hawkins is the resort communications advisor. To give you an idea of the scope of some of their prior experience, they worked with the Pinehurst, North Carolina village of Pinehurst on the long-range comprehensive plan and development plan for the village of Pinehurst. This included not only long-range planning, infrastructure, lots of data on trends and future economic needs and where the community was short or needed development. They identified these 4 key areas that became part. They gave the idea of the scope and type of facilities and infrastructure needs to move them into the future. They also did the work for Snowmass, Colorado, and a comprehensive plan and small area planning at Snowmass. with strategies were developed to continue to evolve into a village that is just big enough, providing services and amenities for visitors while ensuring that a high quality of life is maintained for residents. And a final, they did Swanee, Tennessee for the University of the South on a major plan for the future development and needs relative to the community of Swanee and in particular the University of the South. So, their project timeline is a 12-month planning process. They will have a kickoff. Basically, they'll come on board next month, September. They will meet with the board, myself, senior management team, key community committee chairs, and the like. They'll be taking tours of the property, doing some of their information gathering and verification, talking about scopes, getting where current needs are, reviewing all of our documents, governing documents, planning, strategic plans and the like. So all of that will occur over the next 2 months. In November of 2026, they will launch a community event, which they have coined Planapalooza. And this will be a celebration event to bring all of you in to meet with them, for them to meet with you, to talk about their plans and hear from you, listen from you, what their scope is. You can interface with them. There'll be more details all about that event in the coming weeks. That process will continue over the course of their work. One of the keys is why they were selected is because they firmly believe and do and have proven processes in place from the type of community projects that we shared with you, in which they solicit member input, and they have various events and times, whether they're in person, online, in which member input can be gathered. And the final completion, which is scheduled, their final deliverables are due in late August, 1st of September of 2027. Their cost was within the budget parameters of this project, which was put into the budget for this year, and their total cost is $468,000. Thank you.
Okay, this is an area where we're going to allow questions, but we're going to cut them off after a half an hour. That's the max we'll go on questions. So please, if you have questions, come up and ask them. Yes. No, this is questions just on the presentation. General questions from the public will be, or the membership will be after this.
Oh, you want me to? You want me on there?
Yeah, that's probably going to be easier. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Jessica Speaker Newton. I live at 12 Forest Hill Terrace. I'm a member of the Strategic Planning Committee. One of the questions that I have, I know that I've corresponded with Monica this week about it, but for a little background for everyone, back in August of 2025, I was voted to represent the Strategic Planning Committee on the Community Master Plan Committee. I heard a couple of months ago I was removed from that, and I heard that in a board meeting. When I emailed Monica and Scott and asked what happened, when that happened, I was told we decided to take you off of that. Who is the we? Monica?
I did not say we decided to take you off of that. And in fact, what happened, you were never removed or replaced. You were selected, I believe, by the SPC in 2025. The project was then delayed a year. And when we got near the time, the same thing I told you, is we looked at candidates who would be serving the next couple years to get us through this process, which were the newer members of the Strategic Planning Committee. And we looked at those and
Who's
selected.
we, ma'am? Sorry, who's the we?
I'll give it to you. And we looked at those and selected Mark Carlock. Now, the selection was Scott, MK, and me, but it was presented to the board as part of the entire project. Now, when you ask about being replaced, I asked yesterday in the board meeting with all members but Ellen present, if anybody remembered me saying anything about replacing Jessica or any other mention of it on this project. And nobody had an answer.
Okay.
Well, first off, y'all realize that y'all are not voting members of the Strategic Planning Committee, correct?
Jessica, you had your question answered, so let's let somebody else
I
please
actually-
come up. Is there anybody else that has a question? Program.
I have one more question.
Let's go ahead.
Go on ahead.
I would like to also know if this is because I've reported you guys to the Attorney General.
I'm sorry, what?
Is this retaliation over reporting you guys to the Attorney General? Because
No.
I see it as retaliation.
You're at the end of your term, and
Actually, I was at the end of my term when I was voted to that, and I extended my term. I was voted in August of 2025, and I was due to sign off in December. Same scenario.
Okay.
And I said I would stay on. So you replaced me with your friend.
he's
And
not my friend.
he is an
I think
office
this is going
supply
on far enough.
salesperson. I am much more
Jessica,
qualified.
thank you for
You
your
just
question.
don't want the answer if it's not
Please,
what you want to hear.
please, go on ahead.
No.
Anyone else have questions? There are no other questions on the program? Okay, hearing none. Let's have a motion. Oh, I'm sorry, come on.
Catherine Henderson, Druid Hills. You haven't really given us a chance to review a lot of the details in there, but just doing a quick look at the company that you've chosen, have they done anything like Fairfield Glade, the scope, a POA that has the covenant restrictions in a declarant situation?
Bill, do you want to address that?
Yes, all of these communities are quite large and have governing documents. There's nothing that's going to be exactly like Fairfield Glade, but they have tremendous experience and are highly recognized in the industry.
What I saw on their website, and then this was a quick look because we didn't get any details ahead of time, was that the largest community that they had done similar to us with the POA was 28% smaller than we are. So I'm just wondering,
Some are POAs
we're a
and
big
some have
community.
become incorporated. So, Pinehurst started out as a POA. They're now incorporated.
Okay.
So, that's just decisions that different communities make. But we are confident they have the skill set to meet our needs. Yes.
Okay.
I think it's important to note that the scope that Bill outlined, this is more of a total development project for everything from utilities to amenities to community living space.
Land
This is really a total development. Take a look. Typically, you get this at the very beginning of a project the size of Fairfield Glade. Why it didn't happen, I don't know. But it's a very necessary part to get all parts of the community, our providers of services involved in this planning so that we can plan out the rest of Fairfield Glade. So the scope is not just the POA, it's everything. Okay. Any other questions?
Bill, you said the cost of this is around 468. What?
468,000.
And what time frame is that spread over?
12 months.
So we're going to pay that this year, or part of it this year and part next year?
It will be paid at the start of this year. And you want to speak to that, Jason, as far as the allocation over time?
So they will have a retainer deposit, and then we'll have thresholds, and I'd anticipate the billing to be over 3 or 4 pay-ups.
Okay, so the initial payment is this year, and that's in the budget?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's within the budget amount
The budgeted amount was $500,000
for this year?
overall, we'll do part this year, then we'll have a carryover for next year.
Okay, okay, thanks.
Good morning. My name is Bobby DePra. I just had a couple of questions about.
Please get in the microphone.
I'm sorry. A couple of questions about how the development is being described. It's being described as self-contained. Does
Hold
that
on.
mean-
This is strictly on the master plan for the community.
Well,
You
this
got-
is part of the master plan.
If you've got specific questions about what the program is on sewer deferral and that development, I'd ask you to do that in regular comments. But go on ahead, let's see what your
Well, I
question is.
appreciate that. It says it's self-contained. What does self-contained mean? Does self-contained mean that there are stores? Does self-contained mean that there are places to visit? What does walkability mean? Because I've seen that. Walkability, when you're talking to a realtor, means you could walk to a store, you could walk to a library, you could walk to a school, you could whatever. Just the fact that you're putting in sidewalks does not make a neighborhood have a walkability score or walkable. And that's basically, I'd really like to know what's self-contained and how you say it's a walkable place. By putting in sidewalks? Now, crickets? Thank you.
Self-contained is the physical borders of Fairfield Glade Community Club. We have a property that is defined. That is self-contained. So they're not looking at Crossville as part of this. They're looking at what is defined, the property that defines Fairfield Glade Community Club. Walkability is just they will determine and make suggestions relative to, walkability scores are given for communities all over the country and the world. But those are just part of, a small piece of a large study that's done. And yeah, we can see our community and most communities in the country don't have high walkability scores. I will say that the market values that, the future.
Right.
So anything that we can do I'm guessing, to improve upon that, where you can centrally locate a car and walk to various amenities and things that you want to enjoy, would be an enhancement. If you can provide walkability more in certain enclaves and areas that incorporate things that future home buyers would enjoy, such as community gathering spots and all that, I would think that would be desirable to consider. So those are the type of things about what can we do to position Fairfield Glade more favorably for current and future residents as far as what they are looking for in making their business decisions, as well as positioning us economically as a whole and having a better understanding of where we are and where we're going. We need to know where we're going. And to Greg's point, this community, just like a reserve study, never had a reserve study. That's being addressed, has been addressed, and will continue to be. There's never been a community master plan for this community. This gives guidance to future boards. Boards come and go. This will be a very comprehensive analysis of where we are and where we should be to remain a viable community for many years and decades to come. I would think that would be a goal that we all look for, and I know it is. So that is what they're going to provide us, so we're not out there on our own. And it would take a lot, I would think, for future leadership to somehow want to veer from that. And these folks will be there and can always be brought back for further engagement and updates as to where we are. But it gives us a roadmap to where we're going, rather than trying, if you don't know where you're going, that's probably where you're going to end up, So I hope that's helpful.
Well, no, because when you are already putting out that this lovely neighborhood is going to be very walkable and that close to amenities, in your costs of building these 300 homes or whatever, you still haven't put in the costs of building any amenities at that end of town near the 300 homes.
That's what the master plan will help do.
Right, so you're talking about spending even more money, and you're positioning it as saying that it's a very walkable area. And I think that is an untruth, and it is not the way to be selling that area.
Then
Thank you.
my suggestion is make sure that you do get involved with the meetings and the town halls that'll come around this so that you can get your point of view out. Okay, any other questions?
Beth Jones, Hickory Ridge Lane. Will this comprehensive plan consider 100% of Fairfield Glade or just the section that Mr. Anderson is going to develop?
Go on ahead, Monica.
It will include all of Fairfield Glade. This is not really, this was started working on before we even knew about the St. George Village. So it will
Gail
include all of
Elsperman,
Fairfield.
I'm sorry, are you done? Okay. Gail Elsperman, 19 Chatham Court. I really don't understand. We're in court now because Tom Anderson says that he's the one who makes all the decisions on development here, yet we're doing the plan to plan the development of here, and he is under no obligation to do anything that looks pretty on that plan. So we're going to spend $500,000 getting a real pretty drawing from some place that he could look at it and say, I don't want to do any of this. And why are we paying? That is his business expense. That is not ours to show everyone what the plan's going to be. Why is that our cost?
Well, the master plan contemplates and will look at a lot more than just housing. It will look at things like where fire stations need to be, where emergency services need to be placed, what the growth of utilities will be as our population grows. It's not just about St. George Village.
Okay,
it's
but
about
this
the
is a
whole
10-year
property
plan,
of
right?
Fairfield Glade.
There's a 10-year plan, I believe was said?
I'm sorry.
The 10-year plan?
30 years.
I'm sorry?
It's anywhere, as I said in the presentation, it's
I
anywhere from
presume that before
5
you
to
put the
30.
firehouse where you put it, that you did some kind of looking at the map of Fairfield and saying, this is a good place for the firehouse.
Well, yes.
I don't, okay, so now he's building places right down the road from the firehouse. That's where St. George Village is, right down Westchester. And it's got nothing to do with firehouses. He's talked about building malls and about building this and that. And I still don't understand why we are paying for this. It makes zero sense to me that we are paying for what should be his business expense, because he is the one that's saying, I have this document that says I am the only one making decisions on how this place gets developed. Why are we paying that for him? I don't get it.
That's why we're having the master plan, to get community involvement about what the plan's going to look like.
Wait, what was that?
This was brought up at least since 2018 in the strategic planning group, that it needed to be done. This is, St. George Village may be a small group of it, but this
I don't
will
really care
literally
about
look at
St. George
everything.
Village. I really don't. My point is about the big picture, about why are we paying for a study of Fairfield Glade when, somebody said that this wasn't done at the beginning. Well, at the beginning, it would have been done by the declarant, and there have been, 6 declarants since then? And none of them have done it all along. Why are we all of a sudden spending $500,000 on this? I don't understand. And it's not like we're flushing cash, because even though our financials make it look like we are, we really have spent a ridiculous amount of money this year on all kinds of things, and we need to let our finances settle down a little bit before we go spending $500,000 on something that really shouldn't even be our expense.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments or questions?
Good morning. My name is Janet Youngblood, and I live in the Druid Hills area. My question is, when we moved here, we've only been here, actually it's been 3 years, and we were told that the community was already plotted, and when you go to the marina, you can see it posted on the wall. All the lots and the roads and everything have already been figured out. So with this new master plan are you planning on changing the purpose of these lots, taking out roads? Are you changing the whole thing? This wasn't already decided when it was first developed. But the map that's out there, because I even took a picture of it, and is, and then adding, which you don't want to hear about as far as walkability. You know, it's nice that that neighborhood's going to have it, but the walkability that we needed is sidewalks on the major thoroughfares so we can walk to the library or walk to the pool or to the concert. If you go down Westchester, which my husband and I have tried to walk on with those ditches and gullies, you can't walk on the road, you're going to get killed. You can't walk in the ditches, you're going to, you know, hurt yourself. That's the walkability we need, sidewalks that on the major roads to get to the amenities, or the street lights. I've been told by other people that they had a street light and they won't let them replace it when it got burnt out, and that would be at major intersections to see the intersection, not to have a whole neighborhood aglow, because it took me a while to get used to the dark sky. I love it now. If you put street lights, then I'll be back in the city where I moved from. I'm one of those people, right? It's like if you don't like it, go home, but now I like it. But that, so is that what you're doing? You're changing the original master plan? Like I said, if you go to the marina, you can see all the lots have been plotted, all the streets have been marked out. So what is it that they're going to change with this?
It's not to change what lots have been plotted and the roads that are in existence or anything like that. It's to look at what do we need for this community, for members today and in the future. And some of it may be that walkability. Some of it may be that we need to have a central location where more things are located so when somebody can park and then walk around. But until we get there, we don't know what all it is. But you will have a chance both at the Planapalooza and other times to provide input.
Okay, so if you're going to add a parking lot, it would have to be on lots that were already plotted, so you have to buy those off of somebody or something. Like I said, if you go and look at that map, everything was already plotted and sectioned off. And even the new neighborhood, how are they going to put in all these things and make it connectable? Because they're all cul-de-sacs.
There's a number of acres that have not been plotted.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, so you're planning on the acres that are not plotted, but the
Well,
majority
that's
of Fairfield Glade.
part of the whole thing, because it's not just homes. It's services, you know, emergency services, all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
So what you got to do is you got to kind of get the committee here and start talking about, we've talked about the broad scope.
Right.
Now you got to get into the minuscule pieces, and we
Right.
haven't even had the first meeting yet.
Right, so if for a fire station down there, if it's already been plotted, and again, when you go to the marina, look at the land, you have to get somebody.
What this is anticipating to look at is if another 10,000 people came into Fairfield Glade, what would we need to look like?
Mhm.
Okay? So it's, the things that are here, but when we grow and we continue to grow, what does Fairfield Glade need to look like for services and all of that?
So it's up to change for anything that's not developed yet.
Yeah.
It's up to change whatever's not developed yet. If it doesn't have a building on it, we can change the purpose of that.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of conversation about that. And the idea is not to change things that are already plotted, that type of thing. That'll be a decision that the community is going to have to make. Because when we really see what growth is going to do, we need to take a look at how services are provided, how residential areas fit in. All of that needs to be looked at. You know, for goodness sakes, for years, since I've been on the board, people have always said, well, why can't we have some place where we can meet and play checkers or play cards? And we used to have that. So we got to start looking at what those things need to look like 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now as we grow, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Becky Almeida, in an attempt to understand all that you're doing, there were slides that were presented today with an awful lot of information, but we didn't get a handout. Are you going to provide us with copies of what was on those slides so that we can have a takeaway to be able to continue to understand and try and figure out what the real purposes of all of this is and what we can anticipate?
Yes, they'll be posted on the website
Why weren't they available for today?
because there's no way to anticipate the demand. We will be happy.
There's
I mean,
all
if you want
kinds
to
of
go by the,
information. You are giving us information
if you-
about how you're going to spend money, and it's not going to cost us, and we're going to be able to have all of this. You gave us
This was
these
a-
reports. Why not that one?
this was just a PowerPoint presentation, and it will
A
be available on
PowerPoint
the
presentation
website.
that's
And we
gonna
will have
talk
hard
about what
copies
we're
if you'd
gonna
like
have
available at the admin
Okay,
office.
the question was, they will be provided on the website
When?
next day or so.
We can have it up, if not this afternoon, by tomorrow.
Yeah.
And an announcement will go out letting you know that it is
Hi.
available.
My name is Gloria Hutcherson. Fairfield Glade existed for almost 50 years already, or maybe has been developed 30 years, and it's been growing and growing. Okay, having a master plan is perfect, is good. But with all the projects that has been done, Druid Hills, Rocket Expansion, and whatever project that he presented, why for this, I'm not blaming you or blaming the former board members. Nobody has looked at this 10 years ago, and we spent all this money already. What makes you guys, okay, was this voted with the members to have this master plan approved?
No.
Hold on. I'll
And
take a shot
also,
at that.
just my experience for the last 3 months. No.
Well,
No, hold on. You know what other needs here in the community is the medical services and healthcare services. Most of these people travel to Nashville, Cookeville, Knoxville, whatever. We need more specialists, medical doctors here in this 9,000 population people living in Fairfield Glade. We don't have enough. I know I know the necessities in the community is part of the community, the Cumberland County. I know we have a hospital here. It is good. It is, well, it can serve already the community. But my concern in the next 10 years and everything, we only have one ambulance. My husband was in the hospital 3 months ago, and it was transferred in Fort Sanders because we don't have enough specialists in this town.
Well, that's why, again.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. Is this company that you hired will be involved in thinking our benefits in the community, our medical services, our health care? Is this company gonna think of that?
That's why this plan is it has to include more than just Fairfield Glade. It has to include the county services that we get. It has to include the hospitals. We've already talked to people like the Chamber of Commerce. We talked to the president of the Covenant Health system. We have talked to the county. They are wanting to participate in this to get a mapping of really what services need to be provided here and where they need to be provided at. So when you take a look at a master plan of the community, you're looking at all that. It's really more or less like you're taking a look at a whole city and trying to decide what needs to be where. So all of those things are going to come through. I mean, that's the whole purpose of doing the plan. Now,
in the next 10 years?
I can't tell you the next 10 years. It'll be mapped out in the plan about how long it's going to take. And whether we like it or not, I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying. And I have a lot of empathy on that.
Huh.
But the fact is that we don't control where doctors want to work. We can help with recruitment. We have a hospital that's willing to work with us and has worked with us very closely. We got people like Fairfield Glade Resident Services that are trying to expand their footprint and do things. There are a lot of things that need to go into this plan. And yes, healthcare is was the number one issue for our community for the last several years when we've gone out and done surveys in that. We know we need to address that, but you need to do it in a methodical way so that you get the right people involved with that discussion.
Yeah, but okay, what I'm saying, before your presentation, was this brought up in previous meetings,
Absolutely.
annual meetings?
We've been talking about healthcare for a long time. We've been talking about emergency services. We put in an EMR program, which is starting to see some benefits this year already. Next year will even grow bigger. So we are trying to act on those things, but there's only a limit of what we as Fairfield Glade can do. We need the county to participate. We may need state participation. We may need other people's participation.
Okay, just one specific example.
Greg,
During one
you've
of
got
these
2 more
meetings
minutes, 30
that was
minutes or
held
so.
in here, I attended here also, and I woke up and I mentioned about the roads. And it was mentioned that whatever, I'm sorry, roads here are not in a
And
good.
we're working with the county on the roads right now.
Well,
and
but
we have been.
somebody had mentioned that the county doesn't have the money.
Well, and that's a true statement. So what we're doing is we're trying to figure out the best ways that we can use the money that is available to us. Now, we're not a taxing authority. We can't raise taxes.
Mr. Jones, are those people gonna be discussing also about budget and also, how much money we're gonna spend here to maintain our facilities here?
We talk about that every year in the budget.
No, this company who's gonna be doing this master plan.
They might give us an idea of the
Yeah.
cost of something, but the budget would be totally.
Okay, we're going to take one more comment because we're running up to our 30 minutes. Well, we got 2. No, we'll let both of you go. So,
This won't take long.
okay.
I have a simple math question. It has to do with 300 homes being built and at a rate of 50 per year with a plan of 20 being sold. That leaves 30 unsold. What does that do for the rest of the homes that might possibly be on the market? What does that have to do with our economics for each and every person here that may have to make a move? That math doesn't work out to me.
Jason can speak to it was a very conservative analysis. Yes, these are the goals. These are what they aspire, but as we've been saying multiple times, it is market driven. So if the aspiration's 50, but only 20 sell, what does that look like? The remaining 30, sir, if they are built, I don't know that they would be. That is their aspiration. But whether or not the market would support it would remain to be seen. But those other 30 would have to convert that home if they chose to build it within 4 years or that when the money comes due. They don't get to sit there forever. It's a 48-month
What, are you going to
window.
force people to buy them? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
If you're a builder, you
build
you
125.
speculate. That's why the market drives it. If you have chosen as a builder, you're taking risk. That's what
Monica,
builders do.
You want to
Hey,
state
Bill,
what you're going to
we
say?
average 125 new builds per year, and we have talked to people, and they're interested in building in the St. George Village area. That's only 50 of the 125 that we're planning on.
But you're adding 50 on to the 125.
No, we are not.
That's not the plan.
So you're going to limit it as to
No.
the other, what,
The
75
market
that
will
we
do-
did?
The market will limit what's going to be built.
Right. If
There were times we built a lot more than 125 homes. There have been times we've built less than 125 homes.
Have
That's
you
an
looked at how
average.
many homes are for sale here now? There's a lot.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is that if you're going to build way too many homes, you're just going to end up with a very bad market.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're not building.
Finally going to get up here, huh?
Finally, Sharon Thorson, and I live up on Hickory Ridge Lane. The question that I have, or the thing really for Bill, is the fact that we've kind of merged two different things. You were talking about the St. George kind of master plan or the discussion of development there. And then we quickly went into the master plan, so it sounded like the master plan was applicable because of the St. George development. And I think that what Greg Jones is saying is that that master plan is for all of Fairfield Glade, which is a needed and very good thing. But along with that, I also feel that we have to contain the role of the declarant. Hopefully the declarant is not involved in a lot of that process and is not driving that process, because then it is a St. George thing rather than a Fairfield Glade thing.
That's why the community club is putting this forward.
Good news, just we need to make clear this is a Fairfield Glade thing, not a declarant thing. So thank you for hearing me out.
Okay. All right. Okay, so
Move on.
did we have the motion yet? Have we done the motion yet?
No.
Okay, all right. So I need a motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the comprehensive community master plan.
Is there any discussion at the board? We'll do a roll call on this one too.
You need a second, Greg.
Oh, we need a second.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Second, okay. We'll do a roll call on this one. Pat, will you do the roll call, please? I don't know if she's still on or not.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so it's
have Six.
six
yeses.
and one absent. All right? All right. Any board member comments?
I would, I'm sorry. Yeah,
What's that?
We need to approve the dock.
The what?
Dock.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. We do have the dock question here. I'm sorry. And this is to allow a dock to go up on Lake Gastafari, which is all common land. Every one of those docks that are there had to get approval from the board, because that's the policy, that if it's being built on common land, that the board has to approve it. So this is nothing really new in the zoo. It's something we have done over and over and over again. So can I have a motion for the approval of the dock?
I make a motion that we approve the dock request on common property at 45 Meadowood Lane.
I second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. Now, board member comments.
I would just like to thank Greg Jones for his 2 terms on the board and Scott Hartema for his 1 term on the board. They will be leaving us after this meeting, and I appreciate the service that they've given to this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board? Hearing none. Are there any member comments? And remember, no
Greg.
pending legislation.
Greg.
Beth Jones, I just have one comment.
We're going to have 30 minutes here as well.
And protocol.
And 3 minutes per person.
I just have one comment. Could y'all please clean up the corner by the power station at Peavine and Catoosa? It looks like crap.
Linda Nyquist, 127 Bromley Lane. I would just like to make a comment about the email that Isaac sent to you. You didn't want to accept his email because he changed his mind. But what about the email that Mary Kay Jacobson sent when she resigned?
That's already got a legal opinion with it. We're not going to get into that again. We've already looked at that from a legal standpoint, and she's a seated member of the board.
I'd also like to say, Greg, the animosity you showed towards Isaac is awful, and I think you owe him an apology.
Good morning. I'm David Brenner. I live at 126 Layden Drive.
I want to speak to the issue of the proposed confidentiality agreement that is on the table. After 33 years in the insurance industry, including managing litigation, no, I'm not an attorney, and also service on several boards and having run a consultant firm for several years, I have seen numerous documents, but never have I ever seen a more onerous, participation discouraging document than the proposed confidentiality agreement before you. I was exposed and expected to protect proprietary information, first and foremost with my clients. Secondly, in instances where there was employees involved, that was the second criteria, protecting those records. Also, participation in but not disclosure of attorney-client privilege protected information. And finally, contract negotiation information that was still in progress. Those were the components, that's it. There are a number of templates out there for community associations like ours and for nonprofits. I would respectfully request that you look at those and eliminate some of the onerous and burdensome things that are in the proposed confidentiality agreement because they discourage participation, the very thing that we're trying to encourage. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
I was just going to ask, did you send those comments in? Did you send those comments in?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good, because all of those are being turned over to the Policy Review Advisory Committee, and they will be looked at. We are not voting on a...
I did not solely rely on next door. No, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I just want to add to that, we'll be taking comments. We're extending the comment period until close of business on Monday, September 14th. And as Monica stated, all those comments are being turned over to the Policy Advisory Committee, and they are looking at redrafting.
Okay.
Philip Riley, 149 Layden Drive. I've lived in Fairfield Glade almost 15 years and served as the chairman of the FAC, the chairman of the Strategic Planning Committee, and a member of the Elections Committee. I've always supported our board of directors because we like it here in Fairfield Glade, and I think that our governance has done much to improve it over the last 15 years, until recently. In September of last year, an announcement was made, and one of the observations I had was that 2/3 of our community, in an almost unprecedented number of votes, clearly stated that they had no interest in members funding the declarant's infrastructure development. And I became aware of someone making a comment at a board meeting following that defeat that, well, we have a plan B, and we've seen that executed this year in the change of the sewer policy. And we sort of got around the member or the responsibility matrix that says that members have a responsibility to review and comment on policy changes. We just decided to call it something else. But indeed, your proposed whatever you call it,
deferral fee?
the deferral fee.
Yep.
What you're doing there is you are letting the declarant, principally the declarant, he owns most of those lots in St. George, to fund his infrastructure development with my money. And I think that's abhorrent.
Well, I'm going to make a comment back at that because the sewer is controlled by the community club. The roads are the declarants. We are not participating in any way, shape, or form in giving one dime to the declarant for roads.
Yes, you are. You're
Nope.
giving him 4 years to pay for it Whereas
giving
if
everyone
the guy
down
on
there.
the next lot,
And if
where I live,
take a look at the ownership down there, it is not primarily the declarant that owns all those lots.
he owns plenty of them.
Well, I would,
What is it, 130 or something like that?
I'm not sure. But,
That, by the way, he's not paying assessments on. And
thank you.
you've given the declarant rights to all the C lots that Fairfield Glade owns.
No, just in a certain area.
Rights to all of the C lots that the county owns.
Right of refusal.
Right of refusal is what he has. He doesn't have the right to,
Actually, the word exclusive was in the presentation you made, and what that tells me is he has an exclusive right. I just think, again, I think, I read this morning in our horrible, horrible social media, somebody saying that Tom Anderson has taken the happy out of Fairfield Glade.
well,
That's all.
I would say there's other contributors to that, but one of the questions, and I'd be happy to have this conversation with anybody. Show me one right that the declarant has gotten that he didn't have before any of this. Just one. Well, you might want to read the letter of voluntary compliance and see what the Attorney General has to say about that.
Okay.
Okay, we're
Next
not going to
question.
get into an argument here.
Next question.
So, any other comments? Any other comments?
Questions?
Catherine Henderson, Druid Hills. Bill, these are both for you. Will the delay in opening the Druid Clubhouse delay the reopening of the golf course?
No, the golf course opens September 1st.
Okay, thank you.
We've sent out emails detailing, if you've seen them, the email blast went out, how that will be staged. We'll have temporary bag drops, staff out there assisting. The snack bar, again, will revert back operations to the golf garage. But no, the golf course bunker renovation was completed on time and on budget, and the golf course is open.
Okay,
And we
great.
have tee times and people waiting.
Okay, thank you. And then the other one was in June. We got cut off, so I spoke to you privately about the bike rack for the center. We still don't have it. It's been 2 months. Just, could you put a little rush on
I will follow up with
that?
that because, yes, I did see I believe it's on order, but I know it's on order. I signed off on the selection of the bikes, but I'll follow up with Abby.
Okay,
All right.
thanks. It'd be nice to have it before it gets too cold to ride.
Okay, thank you.
Nico Sergio, 62 Bromwell Lane. Jason, I saw you packing up your gear, but I have questions for you. Maybe I missed this, but do we have a loan on the club? And how many years is it? Interest rate and monthly payment? Or you must be working with several banks or financial institutions for that. Could you give us that information, please?
For the Druid Clubhouse?
Well, it's called the club now, I thought. Isn't that true? Wasn't it renamed? Yeah.
You're talking about Druid.
Yeah.
So we have lending on the Druid Clubhouse.
Not
So-
now. You have a building loan on it, and that's already been discussed.
Correct.
But you must be pulling another. The building will be done in September. So how are we financing it?
So we have a construction loan for the building of the Druid Clubhouse.
Correct.
Which will revert to a long-term lending 20-year term loan with principal and interest through Smart Bank. And I believe that's going to begin, if we receive the CO September the 23rd, it would begin in November, would be our first P&I payments. The loan is 15.5 million for the clubhouse. The principal and interest payments monthly are roughly 98,000.
Are you aware of any plans right now, or have you suggested any other loans that will be taken out in the next, like for the 2027 budget, or do we have any other loans right now?
So we have a lending capacity for the Racket Center expansion, which is a $2.2 million loan, 20-year term, rate, and has not been established yet. It's construction loan.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Dwight Wages, Rotherham 361. I wish I had asked this question when Kathy was up here at the very beginning when we were talking about the election. When it's stated that we have 35% participation, I wish I would have asked, does that include the timeshares and Wyndham? Or is that just?
We don't know, Dwight. We never get,
Well, I just want
breakdowns.
to remind people, do not get excited about that 35%. It sounds pretty good at this point, perhaps. But if it does include 33%, if it does include the timeshares and Wyndham, that tells us how much more we need to get out for butts and go vote than we have done in the past. So I would just encourage everybody here to not be accepting of any percentage now. We need to go out and vote. That's point one. Number two, it's kind of embarrassing. I know there's some people here that are new, perhaps come to this event for the first time, to think that we're all supposed to see everything on a screen sitting over there. We used to have two over there, which...
We got one back there.
Well, in any event, I think with all these expenses we have, we could do a little bit better to make something available that people could see. Like, why aren't we putting something up here in front as in addition to the sides? You can't, those are worthless as far as us trying to read anything. So I'd ask you, encourage you, take a look at this, will you please? I just think it's not very representative of a good situation. And my last thing is, and you can help me with this, on the St. George Master Plan and the sewage, all the money we're going to make from the sewer plan and so forth, are we going to have to spend additional money capital at the sewage plant to take care of these extra 300 homes? Was that already in there?
Yeah, go on.
So the sewer capacity is the current plant. Current area, we anticipate being able to handle the load.
Everything we have now planned, all the homes, all of that, and the master plan, the 300 homes.
The 300 additional homes for St. George Village is the only thing that I'm speaking of.
And that is, you think, going to be able to take care of without we'd have to spend more money on the sewer. Is that correct?
Existing sewer master plan, and also the one that is 90% completed, have always looked at capacity, and there is not a capacity issue, and we will get updates on that for the sewer. That's what all the extensions, all of the infrastructure planning with sewer. We have no threat of capacity issues on the immediate horizon.
All right, thank you.
Sharon Thorson, Hickory Ridge Lane. Two quick questions. On the financials, the capital projects, it does not list on the Druid development. It lists phase 1, phase 3, but not phase 2 costs. And there is no total line on the worksheet. So, just reviewing that, I was wondering if you have that information and can it be provided? So anyway, that's on the capital financial information. The other thing, which is very near and dear to my heart, totally different from a lot of the other stuff, is hiking in Fairfield Glade. Absolutely love hiking. Absolutely love Fairfield Glade. It is just a fabulous place to live. Love those hiking trails. Don't golf a lick. But I love y'all. So anyway, with that said, with all of this land development, it's important that we watch out for those trail accesses. The whole up on Maple Ridge, The trail access, of course, by the water tower was taken away. They're talking about maybe the trail access by the preserve being shut down. We are older people. We cannot do 4 to 6 mile hikes to get around to the parking lots. Maybe 2 mile, maybe 2.5. I mean, I have done those long hikes, but I have to really plan for it. So anyway, all I'm asking is please, please consider how important hiking is here. It's rated very highly. Takes a little effort from the board, I think, because it's a bunch of volunteers doing it. I've been on the trail crew a couple of times. Loved it, love the trails. Please don't de-emphasize them. Please make sure if they ask for money, it's not big money, but consider them. Keep them high in the priority. And the developers, I'd ask that the developers actually start thinking about putting trail access in from their developments. Maple Ridge, any of these new developments going in, trail access, and that needs to be a part of the master plan too, because it is so darn important. And thank you for considering that, because it's really near and dear to me. Thank you.
Tom Ratcliffe. My first question, Mark, Wyndham has already cast their votes, correct? Okay, so they've cast them already in that number that Kathy probably gave us. Okay, so they've casted them. Did you recommend splitting them, Mark?
I'm sorry, what?
Asking Mark, did you recommend splitting them? I know you don't make the decision, but you make a recommendation. Okay, thank you. Next question I have is
think,
regarding...
Tom, I'm going to say something here. I think that's an unfair question to ask any person who votes.
Fair. I'll accept that. At the same time, never mind. With the upcoming election and next month, I'd like to know how this is going to be handled with the election of officers after the annual meeting. You guys elect officers, the new board. How will that work, and how will the public be able to be a part of that, at least observing? Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Cindy Sharp. Oh. Answers?
Go on. Ask your
Well,
question.
they wanted an answer for the last question. How's that going to work?
We'll do it the same way that it's been done for as long as I've been aware of. We'll, after that meeting, the officers, including the two new, the board members, including the two new ones, will go in a meeting room and we'll decide on the officers for the next year. And it'll be by vote, and everybody casts a vote with a piece of paper if there are more than one candidate interested in each one.
Okay, come on.
Okay. I wanted to ask about the golf club. We're going to pay $23 million for the golf club. And how are we going to pay for it? Are we going to get more people in there to play golf? Or, I mean, what's going to be the difference? I mean, how is it going to improve our golf game, basically? I mean, $23 million, that's $100,000, close to it, every single month that we're going to pay for the next 20 years. What are the plans to increase the number of people coming in here to play golf to help pay for it? Or how is it going to get paid for? I mean, was that even thought about when we put in?
So I'm not taking that as a financial question. That's a operational.
It's an extra $100,000 we're going to be paying every month.
Well, let me put it this way.
Okay.
When you do large capital projects, and in the past, what this club has done is they have always just paid cash.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the cash comes from somewhere, all right? It comes from
Saving
the
it up
membership.
over the years.
And what we used to hear for a number of years is that that's unfair. Because what was happening is the residents here at the time when we would do a capital project would be the only people paying for it, and people moving into the community would get the benefit of the project without having to pay a dime, other than the usage fees. So what this board has started doing is saying everyone should share in that, not only the people that are here. Because if we were to go out and build a $5 million whatever, I don't care what it would be, we would have to raise the funds for the people that are living here right now to make that $5 million investment. Well, knowing, doggone good and well, that investment could last 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And the question really becomes, is that a fair way to do it? Because if you have people that are going to benefit from this for a long time, then take a long-term look at how you're going to finance it. So actually, $98,000 a month is a lot less than X number of dollars to get to pay for the whole cash of that building all at once.
Okay, so is the plan to raise our HOA fees if we don't have enough golfers?
In reference to the loan repayment, that comes out of our capital budget, not our operating budget. So the capital budget pays for the principal and interest payments.
But where does the capital budget money come from?
So there are several revenue lines for the capital budget. One is the amenity reserve fee, interest on our cash. We have 25% of our assessments that flow into the capital budget, 2% of our amenities, which we're not doing this year, but 2% of our amenity revenue, which would be restaurant, golf, also flow into that, as well as some miscellaneous items. So from a capital budget standpoint, we are putting monies aside for the, I believe, Bruce, if your administration is one that put the fund together to pay for the debt reserve. So every month we're putting monies toward a debt reserve. The capital budget for 2027, we've already put enough away to pay for the entire principal and interest payment for 27, and then we are putting monies away per month in the capital budget for 27 to pay for the 28, and that'll be the way that we are paying this loan back.
So there's nothing about helping to get more golfers in here,
Yes.
or?
We are, the golf packages, which we rely heavily on and always have as part of our operation here. The capture ratio is going to increase with their spending. That's what that whole project was about. The quarry, for instance, the golf garage as a performance, as well as the new clubhouse. This is about your amenity package of what makes your community viable. You have to continue to reinvest in your amenities to make your community viable, which translates into your property values.
Right.
So as we are actively marketing as we speak to those that are coming in the fall, those golf packages, for instance, as well as our marketing for next year to where their golf package rates, they will have rates available that include a meal during their stay. We've had the majority right now, and we hope to improve upon our ability to have housing availabilities for future golf packages to enhance that, especially with the transition that's going on. With something we want to try to look at as our interest, to have some type of ability to have additional units. But whether that happens or not, our existing are all located primarily in the country club villas. In the past, we know they come in, one of the most popular packages. They arrive on a Friday evening. They play on a Thursday evening. They play 36 holes on Friday, 36 holes on Saturday, 18 on Sunday, and they're out of here. At the end of their long day, they don't want to get in the car and drive over to Stonehenge or wherever. They would, a lot of times, and they will continue to want to just stay at home and throw something on the grill, let's say, in their unit. But they now have immediate proximity to come up to Druid. Likewise, they're incented to do. All of that is about the enhancement of drawing golf packages, creating that excitement and that marketing of our community. which directly leads, gets us exposure to potential prospects that are going to come in here and buy. It also enhances all of you and all of those future buyers that are coming to where this community is an attractive. Whether you play golf or not, you benefit overall from our amenity package. Whether you pay pickleball or not, you benefit from that. Whether you hike on the trails that are so beloved. All of that has value and has input on the value of your home. If you do not, and I know this from my experience in communities in South Florida, all over the country, that's the form. You have to continue to reinvest in your common areas to protect your property values. Otherwise, the amount that you're going to.
Bill, we have time for 2 more people to ask questions.
Okay, I just have a real quick
Ma'am,
question.
ma'am,
I know.
No, ma'am, your time's up. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Next question, please.
Ted Landers. I have about 5 questions, but they're all really quick answers.
Can you please
All right,
be
can you
quiet
hear
so
me
we can
now?
hear the question?
Ted Landers, I've got 5 questions. They're all quick answers. So the first thing, did the timeshares pay for their assessments for August? The HOA, the 8 HOA associations.
So they have been processed. We have not received the actual cash for August.
Okay. And I'm assuming that Wyndham is paid for their 1,200 or 1,300 lots, whatever that number is?
Correct.
Okay. The electronic sign on Peavine and Stonehenge has not been working for several weeks. Can you tell me what the plan, Bill should address this, sorry. What's going on with that, when we expect it to be working, and what the cost would be?
It has been working. It was down. It was restored. It's been hit by lightning. They've been addressing it to get it up and running, but that is okay. It's down again, so it's being addressed. But yes.
So it's not working. You got hit by lightning. So are we doing something that we can protect it from a lightning strike in the future?
Yeah, they had to completely rebuild the board inside, and that took time. And I haven't got an update as to what put it down this time, but
Okay.
find out.
There was the $188,000 for the cost of the replacement HVAC system in the existing racket center. The last time we had information about it, it had not been sent out for bid. And I'm just wondering, have you received bids on it, and when are you expecting the work to begin?
It is in process as we speak, yes.
You mean you're waiting for bids to be returned, or what's in process mean?
That it is being, as we speak. We've gotten the bids, and we are moving forward with the renovation by the end of this year.
Okay. We've been without a head of our IT department for a while. Are we searching for somebody? Have we made a hire? Can you fill us in on that?
Yes, Mr. Bob Uri is coming back. He went on and took a outsourced job down in Florida, but he has decided to return. He will be starting the September 7th full-time. He's been working with us for several months on a consulting basis, but he will be returning. We also partnered with Ben Lohman. So those are the most recent changes and upgrades to our IT department.
That'll be, and the last question is, I was surprised that the member survey, which was released a couple days after our last board meeting, was not mentioned or addressed in today's meeting, which showed a particularly poor score for confidence in the board of directors at 17%.
Okay,
Is
thank
that
you.
going to be on
We have
an
time for one
agenda
more.
soon?
One more. Lisa, I think you were next.
There won't be an answer to that.
We're going to have to get a smaller podium.
I'm too short for this thing. Lisa Shelton, Spring Lake. So if I can only ask one question, I'm going to ask this question of Isaac. There was a statement read today, and there was also an email that came out from the board with commentary about Hanover Court. So my question is to Isaac, do you think that that email tells the entire story?
I want to make sure
we're not
that
taking
everyone
questions on
understands.
litigation.
If Isaac is going to answer, he is not answering on behalf of the board.
That's
He's
why I
asking on
asked
behalf of
Isaac
himself.
as an individual,
Hey,
because
Greg, we
he's
weren't
being
taking any
sued.
questions on
So
litigation.
I'm asking his opinion about an email that the board sent out.
Well, we're not going to get into that
We're not
then.
taking litigation questions.
That's pending litigation. And
Okay, then I'll just say one other thing. I requested some documents from the architectural committee, which I got maybe 6 weeks ago, and the records from the club actually indicate a decreased number of unique builders that are building in this community. In 2024, there were 44 unique builders. In 2025, it dropped down to 35. And in 2026, the year-to-date number was only 21 unique builders. We need more builders in this community. We don't need just one. And it's not a good record. That's your legacy.
Thank you. Greg, that's
Yeah,
time.
I think we were done with the 30 minutes here, so you can come up and ask your question of any of us.
I just got one question. You asked for a club.
No, we're
No,
meeting.
we're done.
The
We're done.
comment section
You asked for
is
club
closed.
participation.
Comment section is
Okay.
closed.
Please be seated. You can come up and ask any question you want to members
No, I
afterwards.
think it's important that the community
No.
hears the question and not
That's
just
it.
one or two board members.
30 minutes was the cap, so here we go.
All right. Greg,
Hearing no more
Greg,
comments
I have
from
a motion to
from the,
adjourn.
Floor.
I
Do I
second.
have a motion to
I'll tell
to
you,
adjourn?
September's
All
not
right.
coming
Motion to
soon
adjourn.
enough.
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we stand adjourned. Board members, I need you for one other conversation.
Answer his question.
Hey,